And welcome to the third lesson on comprehension. In this video here, we're going to be having a look at a film review. Okay, there's going to be 20 questions at the end. It is very, very important that you take the test at the end, because that is what comprehension is all about. Now, please be advised, there are details that some people may find disturbing in this review. So let's get on with it now. It's about to begin. Nightmare in Badham County, made in 1976. Written by Joe Heames. Directed by John Llewellyn Moxey. Executive producer Douglas S. Kramer. Producers Wilfred Lloyd Bombs and Herb Wallerstein. Distributed by ABC for television and video, and the review is by Stunning Lad 1 English. Movies are always at their best when we can either relate to them or when they are based on real life events. This lets us empathise with the plight of the characters or learn of serious wrongdoings. While this movie isn't based on a true story, it still reveals the horror of prison life in a private prison and the gross corruption that can go on there. Two pretty college girls, Kathy and Diane, pick the wrong spot to get a flat tire. This misfortune leads to a horrific chain of events that would change the girls' lives forever. The main stars are Deborah Ruffin, who plays Kathy Phillips, and Lynn Moody, who plays Diane Emery. Nightmare in Badham County also stars Della Reese as Sarah, Chuck Connors as Sheriff Danon, Robert Reed as Superintendent Harry Dancer, Ralph Bellamy as the judge, Tina Louise as Miss Greer, Lana Wood as Miss Smitty, Fionnuala Flanagan as Miss Dulcie, Kim Wilson as Emmeline, and Essex Smith as George. Filmed in Greenwood, Mississippi, in the blisteringly hot summer of 1976, Nightmare in Badham County is a movie filled with tension and drama. We are about to discover that the very worst of society are not the people behind bars. Kathy Phillips is a white college girl and Diane Emery is a black college girl. Together they make up the match set. They are best friends. The two girls aren't used to racism at the University of California in Los Angeles. But this isn't Los Angeles. This is Badham. George, a local black man, kindly stops and helps Kathy and Diane change their flat tire. But then Sheriff Danon drives past. He comes to a screeching halt and is furious to see George helping the girls. "Shucks," exclaims George, "if that man isn't always showing up like a bad cold." It soon becomes evident that Sheriff Danon is a racist bigot, and the two girls are naturally disgusted at how the sheriff speaks to George. After George changes the tire for the girls, Sheriff Danon asks, "Are you girls going to stay in town for long?" "No longer than we have to," replies an angry Diane, and then speeds off with Kathy. The girls then drive to the nearby town as their flat tire needs repaired. While their car is in the garage, the girls go across the road to the cafe. But sadly for the girls, the sheriff shows up again like that proverbial bad cold. He attempts to flirt with Kathy and Diane. Neither girls approve of this. Diane tells Sheriff Danon to go twist on a fork. The girls' nightmare has now well and truly begun. The enraged sheriff storms out of the cafe and goes across the road to the garage. He tells the garage attendant to ensure the girls' car doesn't start when they come to collect it. He is also told to tell the girls that the car will take a whole day to repair. This means they will have to spend a night in Badham County. Kathy and Diane camp in the nearby woods. They are left totally dismayed when that bad cold sheriff turns up yet again. He arrests the girls for trespassing and subsequently jails them. Kathy and Diane are totally distraught, especially when they are put in separate cells. However, the reason for that soon becomes evident. The sheriff does that so he can rape Diane. The next day sees the girls in court, where they are charged with trespassing. Astonishingly, an extra charge of prostitution gets added when the girls tell the judge of Diane's rape. 30 days in the Badham County Prison Farm for women, says the judge. As Kathy, Diane and the other new prisoners are ushered into the prison van, the judge, played by Ralph Bellamy, expresses his fury at the sheriff. "One of those days you're going to make more trouble than I can get you out of," snarls the judge. "Anything you say, cousin," replies Sheriff Danon. It's clear that the judge is regularly having to get his crooked sheriff cousin out of trouble. Sheriff Danon only became the sheriff due to high-level nepotism, and he should really be the one behind bars. The prisoners are now heading to the prison farm, where Sarah, a fellow black woman, has a chat with Diane. "I heard the judge gave you 30 days, says Sarah. "I wouldn't count on that, baby. This is harvest time, and they need as much help as they can get, and for as long as they can get it." However, Kathy feels confident that a phone call to her father will quickly ensure release. She will call him when she gets to the prison farm. The new prisoners arrive at the prison farm. The white women are led out first and the black women second. They meet their superintendent, Harry Dancer. At the prison farm, things go from bad to worse. Superintendent Dancer tells Kathy she can't make a phone call or even write letters. This means that Kathy and Diane are stuck in jail for 30 days with no possibility of release. The new women prisoners are then segregated according to the race. Diane is therefore in with Sarah, who acts as a mother figure to her. At least a real sisterhood exists among the black women. They all look out for each other. The white women have their own quarters where the same level of camaraderie doesn't exist. Luckily, Kathy strikes up at least one friendship as she takes 15-year-old Emmeline under her wing. Emmeline has been sent to Badham for constantly running away from home. Emmeline is an innocent, shy girl who is most definitely Superintendent Dancer's type. He likes the young girls, and it isn't long before he sends for her. This is how things operate at the prison farm. When Superintendent Harry Dancer fancies some sex, he can send for one of the inmates. The same rule applies if one of the women prison guards, in inverted commas, desire fun. And Miss Alice, a lesbian, is notorious for her fried chicken for sex favours. After being subjected to some kind of bean soup for the first night's dinner, Kathy learns that there aren't any prison guards at Badham. They are actually trustees. "You mean they are prisoners?" asks Kathy. "That's right. It's the white trustees that run this place," replies one of the inmates. This is like leaving sharks in charge of a swimming pool, but is the way of things at Badham. The private prison farm would have to pay guards. Using prisoners means they can get their staff for free. The trustees are all well looked after though. They have nice accommodation and get good food like fried chicken. It's a far cry from what the prisoners get. Yuck! "This is a farm," gasps Kathy as she sips on the bean soup. "They grow food here. How can they feed us this slop?" Kathy is told that Miss Greer, in charge of the women's compound, says they're here to work and not eat up the profits. The women are simply being used as slave labour at Badham. What crime they've committed, if any, isn't that important. Kathy and Diane quickly learn that Sarah wasn't fear-mongering when she warned Diane to expect more than 30 days. Kathy gets an extra 60 days added to her sentence by Miss Smitty for no reason, while Diane gets years added to hers. Corruption goes right to the top at Badham County. All the pillars of society are as crooked as each other. The folks in town, the sheriff, the prison superintendent, the judge and the mayor are all in each other's pockets, and none of them are prepared to help Kathy and Diane. Therefore, a number of escape attempts are made by Kathy and Diane. These escape attempts are extremely costly though. One results in Kathy getting lashed by Miss Greer, and another sees Diane serving a month in a cell the size of a car trunk. Miss Dulcie warns Kathy that Miss Greer has also been known to crack girls' knuckles with a nutcracker when they step out of line. Kathy and Diane are terrified that may happen to them next. "And the strap and the nutcracker are the least of it," Sarah tells Diane. "Baby, people die in here." All the misery they've endured, plus learning that inmates have been murdered, eventually brings Kathy and Diane to breaking point. Unless they can come up with the perfect escape plan, Kathy and Diane could either spend the rest of their lives at the farm or be murdered. It's time for bold actions. Diane discovers a way out, but will it work? Nightmare in Badham County is a gripping, emotional and a thought-provoking movie. It shines a spotlight on the appalling corruption and profiteering of the prison industrial complex, as well as revealing the horrific nightmare of prison life. The acting is simply excellent, with all the characters scoring full marks. It is so good, in fact, that you would be forgiven for thinking you're watching a real-life event. This all goes to prove that with good acting, good direction and with good producers, real life can be convincingly replicated. Joe Heames also has to be highly praised for writing such an enthralling story. Nightmare in Badham County was made by ABC for television and video. This film is available online to buy. Okay, so if you could now watch this again from the very start, and maybe this time you can mute the sound and just read for yourself. And I hope you're back. List from 1 to 20. Question 1. Who wrote Nightmare in Badham County? Was it A. Joe Heames, B. John Llewellyn Moxey, C. Douglas S. Kramer, or D. Herb Wallerstein? So write down either A, B, C or D. Question 2. Who played the part of the judge? A. Chuck Connors, B. Robert Reed, C. Ralph Bellamy, or was it D. Essex Smith? So nice and simple, that's all you've got to do, just write down A, B, C or D next to the number. Question 3. When was Nightmare in Badham County made? A. 1976, B. 1977, C. 1978, or was it D. 1979? When was it made? And we're now on to question 4. According to George, what was the sheriff always showing up like? Was it like A. a bad rash, B. a bad head, C. a bad dream, or D. a bad cold? Question 5. What did Diane tell the sheriff to do? A. to boil his head, B. to take a run and jump, C. to go twist on a fork, or was it D. to leave them alone? That was question 5. This is question 6. What was the sheriff's second name? Was it A. Dancer, B. Daniels, C. Darcy, or was it D. Danon? What was the sheriff's second name? Question 7. Who did the sheriff rape? Was it A. Sarah, B. Emmeline, C. Diane, or was it D. Kathy? Who did the sheriff rape? It was one of these 4 girls. Which one was it? Question 8. How long did the judge sentence Kathy and Diane for? Was it A. 30 days, B. 60 days, C. 90 days, or D. for the duration of the harvest season? Question 9. What was the superintendent's first name? A. Barry, B. Harry, C. Larry, or was it D. Gary? That was question 9. Hope you're writing all these in there. Question 10. A sisterhood existed among whom? A. the black women, B. the white women, C. the trustees, or was it D. the girls in town? Question 11. Who was in charge of the women's compound? A. Miss Dulcie, B. Miss Smitty, C. Miss Greer, or was it D. Miss Alice? And we're on to question number 12. How many actual prison guards worked at the Badham County Prison Farm? A. 0, B, 4, C, 6, or was it D, 8? Question 13. What was the first dinner Kathy and Diane were subjected to at the prison farm? A, some kind of corn soup, B, some kind of lentil soup, C, some kind of bean soup, or D, some kind of pea soup? That was question 13. Here's question 14. What happened to Kathy when she was at the prison farm? She was sent for by the superintendent. B, she was lashed by Miss Greer. C, she was put in a cell the size of a car trunk. D, she had years added to her sentence. Question 15. According to Miss Dulcie, what else was Miss Greer known to do to prisoners who stepped out of line? A, lash them raw. B, beat them black and blue. C, crack their knuckles with a nutcracker. Or D, pistol whip them. Question 16. One of the prisoners was put in a cell the size of a car trunk. How long was this for? A, 1 week. B, 2 weeks. C, 3 weeks. D, a month. A, B, C, or D. Question 17. Why was Emmeline sent to the prison farm? A, for running away from home. B, for theft. C, for truancy. Or was it for D, for vandalism? Why was Emmeline sent to the prison farm? Question 18. Complete this sentence. The folks in town, the sheriff, the superintendent, the judge and the mayor. A, have nothing to do with each other. B, all know their place. C, all have their price. Or D, are all in each other's pockets. How did I write that in my review? Question 19. What relation was the sheriff to the judge? A, he was his cousin. B, he was his son. C, he was his nephew. D, he was his brother. Question 20. Who said this to Diane? Baby, people die in here. Was it A, Kathy, B, Miss Greer, C, Sarah, or D, one of the inmates? And that is all the questions. I hope you did extremely well. Well, let's find out just how well you did as we now go on to reveal the answers. And here they are. For question number 1, you should have had A, Joe Heames. For question number 2, you should have had C, Ralph Bellamy. For question 3, you should have had A, 1976. For question 4, you should have had D, a bad cold. For question 5, you should have had C, to go twist on a fork. For question 6, you should have had D, Danon. For question 7, that was C, Diane. And we'll have them all written out for you, by the way, so you can compare your answer sheet with the real one, with the one that I've done. Question 8. You should have had A, 30 days. Question 9. You should have had B, Harry. And for question 10, you should have had A, the black woman. So we're looking to get 75% here. 15 right at least. Hope you're doing it. Question 11. Who was in charge of the women's compound? Well, that was C, Miss Greer. And I won't read out all the questions again. Question 12, that was A0. Question 13, that was C, some kind of bean soup. Okay, you can see all the questions written out again there, but obviously they're going too fast for me to read them out because we don't have all day here. Question 14. B, she was lashed by Miss Greer was the answer. Question 15, you should have had C, crack their knuckles with a nutcracker. That was for C. That was for 15. Question 16, you should have had D, a month. Okay, that was the one about being in a cell the size of a car trunk. And for question number 17, that was A, for running away from home. Question 18, when I was asking you to complete the sentence, the folks in town, the sheriff, the superintendent, the judge and the mayor are all in each other's pockets. Okay, well done if you got that one right. And question number 19, what relation was the sheriff to the judge? Remember that one? That was A, he was his cousin. And question 20, who said this to Diane? Baby, people die in here. Well, that was C, Sarah. I hope you did extremely well there. Now we're just going to have a look at the score sheet and how. Okay, there it is there. That's, you can pause the video there and see if that matches yours. So you're looking for 15 out of 20, okay? 15 out of 20. If you haven't got that, that isn't a pass, okay? Because you do need to get a high score in your comprehension. So I hope you enjoyed that there as much as I enjoyed making it. And don't forget that we have another 2 comprehension tests on this channel, and they are terrific. Here's a quick look at them.
Not in there! Molly! Molly! To coin a phrase, whoops.
$22.11. Check it out.
Yes, please check them out. They are terrific. And also check out the other lessons on my Learning English playlist. They're all easy to follow and extremely helpful. Learning English has never been so much fun as it is with Stunning Lad 1 English. Subscribe today.